Two personnel of the Assam Rifles were killed in an IED blast and subsequent ambush on their convoy in Ukhrul district of Manipur. According to reports, suspected National Socialist Council of Nagalim, Isak Muiva, militants carried out the attack by detonating an improvised explosive device or IED before launching an ambush. Several other Assam Rifles personnel are also reported to have been injured. Following the attack, security forces cordoned off the area and launched a large-scale search operation. Authorities have begun an investigation into the incident. As of now, no organization has officially claimed responsibility for the attack. After the incident was reported in the media, the two communities began a blame game. Members of the Kuki community posted and claimed that there are growing concerns while security operations are heavily concentrated in Kuki inhabited areas. Alleged activities of armed groups such as NSCN, NSCN Eastern Flank, ZUF and other insurgent elements operating through border regions of Ukhrul and Kamjong districts requiring equal attention from the authorities. Concerns have also been raised regarding the movement and presence of armed groups in villages and border areas including Sinakaithal, Sarekhong, Toi, Lengangching and adjoining parts of Kamjong district. Denying the claims, the NSCN IM in a statement said the ambush was allegedly carried out by an armed group suspected to be the breakaway Eastern Flank faction and has no concern or connection whatsoever with the NSCN GPRN. We have Professor Prashanjit Biswas, Professor of Philosophy, Northeastern Hill University, now joining us live on the broadcast. Professor Prashanjit Biswas, thank you for taking time out to be with us. Can you help us understand, now we've lost two personnel of the Assam Rifles and immediately a blame game has begun?
Yes, I mean, the blame game actually shows the kind of internecine conflict that are there within armed groups. A very renowned and a very respected armed group, I would say, NSCN IM, which is having a ceasefire agreement with Government of India, has proclaimed that it has no connection with such IED blast because they are in ceasefire and they are upholding peace in the region. And that's prima facie very, very correct. So a breakaway faction from NSCN IM, who are called NSCN Eastern Flank, is widely considered as responsible for this kind of an attack, IED attack on Assam Rifles. And the area where this attack has happened, that Ukhrul district already has experienced exodus of Kuki people because of the ethnic tension there. And it is historically there since 90s, this kind of an exodus and this kind of a tension, which was brewing at one point of time, which was stabilized in the form of a peace and understanding between Kuki and Naga community, again suddenly broke. And we can see the kind of mutual attack and counter-attack that have been happening between vigilante groups from both the sides. So therefore, the situation there is extremely tense. And if a kind of a paramilitary like Assam Rifles can be attacked in this manner, then one can understand the state of security situation for the ordinary mortals there. So therefore, the security scenario has to improve at any cost. And for improving it, first of all, those who are responsible for this kind of an IED blast, which was unheard of in last 1 decade or so in the hilly region of Manipur, has now returned with a kind of an ominous sign that this may perpetuate. So this has to be controlled and contained in every possible way. So one of the possible ways to look for a political solution, as I have been arguing, for the entire problem. And the problem has to be taken in entirety. The question of settling the political demands should not be delayed and should not be prolonged, because more it is prolonged, the greater is this possibility of breaking away of the kind of fragile peace that we have there. So therefore, we have to understand the situation from two angles. One, why Assam Rifles is targeted. They are targeted because they are the most dedicated peacekeeper and they were not allowing attack on vulnerable ethnic minorities. Therefore, Assam Rifles have been attacked. Even in certain places, CRPF also has been targeted in attack because they were preventing any kind of attack on the minority or the affected community. Therefore, peacekeepers are in the middle of this kind of an ethnic tension, and they have to balance out both the sides and have to maintain calm and peace so that both the sides are neutralized at the political level, not just at the level of the attacking them and neutralizing them, but at the level of at a political level, they should be brought to a certain kind of a calm. And that is a task that requires a special attention from the central government. And I'm sure central government will be thinking in that line. It's not strong arm tactic that will work in the context of Manipur. So one has to bring them to the table. And that's the most daunting task, easier said than done. With this two loss of lives of two Assam Rifles Jawans, we express our sincere grief to those families who have lost these Jawans whom they have sent for the service of the nation. And we express with a lot of gratitude and our grief for this kind of a loss of life, which should have been avoided by bringing in a political solution in this situation. That's it.
Absolutely, a political solution is the need of the hour. I also want to understand these different groups, armed groups and factions. You have the NSCN IM now claiming that this attack has got nothing to do with it. It's the NSCN Eastern Flank, which the NSCN IM has described as the breakaway faction. But then there is also the ZUF Kamjong group, so many other insurgent elements operating through the border, especially in Ukhrul and Kamjong districts. This is this is I don't know, powder keg of a situation is the only thing I can think of, when it comes to controlling it, Now the attacks have come to the security forces. Do you think a red line has been crossed?
Yes, the attack that has come on the security forces is showing that security forces are not able to have this control over the ground. They are yet to establish their dominance on the ground. And the terrain is such that such a dominance cannot be easily established because insurgent groups know exactly the area. They can ambush, they can attack the security group, and they will remain invisible. So that's the nature of the terrain. So the terrain first has to be mapped properly, and the location and the kind of movement that insurgent groups conduct there, the kind of exercise through which they go and attack some other people, those pathways have to be properly mapped and understood. So at the ground level, there should be a different way of mapping the whole movement of these groups which are claiming responsibility now, especially NSCN IM Eastern Flank, has to be surveilled upon properly so that such attacks cannot recur. Then ZUF Kamjong group also needs to be brought under surveillance and also simultaneously to some political negotiation and discussion so that the kind of friction that has happened of late between Jiliangrong Nagas and the Kuki people can also be resolved through a process of dialogue, through a process of intervention into their concerns. And one of the concerns is this roadblock that is happening in this entire area of Ukhrul area, where Kuki people are suffering. So roadblocks also need to be removed by a democratic dialogue. It should be a multi-party democratic dialogue, I would say, where Jiliangrong people are called in, Tangkul people are called in, Kuki-Jo people are called in, even Meitei people are called in, and together, all of them have to decide the future of Manipur. And this has to be kept as a kind of a major agenda item before them. And then what will happen is that these insurgent groups also will follow this suit once the populace comes to a certain kind of an agreement between them. So this is how a peace process needs to be enacted very, very urgently. And this requires a kind of an initiative bringing in right kind of people into the concern and the discussion. And that has to be initiated probably by the central government to be followed up by the state government. And that's absolutely essential at this point of time.
Fair enough. We'll leave it at that. Professor Prashanjit Biswas, Professor of Philosophy, Northeastern Hill University. Thank you for taking time out to be this here on News 9.